3 days before the biggest game of his life, a 25-year-old quarterback walked up to a microphone, looked the entire football world in the eye, and said the words that made grown men laugh out loud. And then he went out and proved every single one of them wrong. What Joe Namath did on January 12, 1969, did not just win a football game. It permanently, irrevocably changed the sport forever. But here is what most people never talk about. The guarantee almost did not happen. And the reason it did tells you everything you need to know about the most electric personality in the history of the game. To understand the magnitude of what Namath pulled off, you have to understand the world he was walking into. The NFL was royalty. The AFL, the American Football League, the upstart rival league that Namath played in with the New York Jets, were seen as a minor league pretending to play Major League Football. The first 2 Super Bowls had not even been close. Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers had destroyed AFL opponents by a combined score of 68-24. 68-24. The football establishment did not just expect the Baltimore Colts to beat the Jets. They expected a slaughter. The Colts were being called one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Their defense was a nightmare. Fast, physical, suffocating. Their roster was loaded with future Hall of Famers. Vegas set the line at 18 points. 18. That was not a betting line. That was a coronation. The sports media had already written Baltimore's victory speech. And somewhere in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 3 nights before kickoff, a young quarterback from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, decided he had heard enough. At a dinner for the Miami Touchdown Club, a fan in the crowd heckled Namath, telling him the Colts were going to beat him. And Broadway Joe leaned into that microphone and said, calmly and without a single tremor in his voice, "We're gonna win the game. I guarantee it." The room fell apart. The headlines exploded. The establishment howled. But here is the mind-blowing part. Namath's own teammates thought he had lost his mind. His coach, Weeby Bank, begged him privately to walk it back. Even people inside the Jets organization were terrified he had just handed Baltimore the greatest bulletin board material in football history. Instead, what he gave them was belief. January 12, 1969. The Orange Bowl in Miami. 63,000 fans in the seats. A national television audience watching what they expected to be an embarrassment. And from the very first series, something felt different. Namath was not nervous. He was not rattled by the moment. He was in complete, eerie control. He picked apart the Colts' defense with surgical precision. Short passes, quick releases, changing protections at the line before Baltimore could adjust. Every prediction the football world had made was crumbling in real time. The Jets won 16-7. 16-7, the 18-point underdogs, the AFL team that was not supposed to belong on the same field. Namath finished without throwing a single touchdown pass and was still named the game's most valuable player because his command of that game, his decision-making, his ability to neutralize the greatest defense in football was that dominant. That is the kind of performance that makes you stop and ask, how does a quarterback control a game so completely that he wins MVP without a touchdown? But the legacy of Super Bowl III goes so much deeper than the box score. That victory forced the NFL to accept the AFL as an equal. It accelerated the merger. It gave birth to the AFC as we know it today. Without Joe Namath's guarantee, without that win, the entire structure of modern professional football might look completely different. One game, one quarterback, one promise. Nobody believed. And the entire sport shifted on its axis. Namath walked off that field with his index finger raised. Number 1. Jogging through the chaos with that unmistakable confidence. Not arrogance, belief. The kind of belief that bends reality. And here is the question that still gets debated more than 50 years later. Was the guarantee an act of calculated genius, a way to put pressure on himself and fire up his teammates? Or was it just pure, unfiltered Broadway Joe, a man so certain of himself that he could not imagine any other outcome? Drop your answer in the comments. Seriously, I want to know what you think. Super Bowl III was not just a football game. It was the moment the underdog stopped asking for permission. The moment one man's voice was louder than every doubt in the room. Joe Namath guaranteed the impossible. And then he made it real. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Gridiron Legends for more unforgettable football history.